My name's Archie Jennings. I'm the mayor of Washington, North Carolina. And we're here today to show you a video that hopefully will generate your interest in and show you how to play the game of chess. The game of chess has been played in various forms for nearly 500 years, and it's a game that teaches analytical thinking, concentration, and focus. Sometimes though, however, the game is intimidating because of the way the pieces move and the way the rules are constructed. And so we're going to spend a few minutes with you today debunking that myth and showing you that the game is very easy to play. In fact, we're going to show you that we have an 8-year-old with us today that will be playing alongside. With us today is my friend and son Henry, who's 8. And Henry, how long have you been playing chess?
2 years.
2 years. And the first thing we're going to do is set up the board. Now the pieces are considered black and white, but they can be light and dark. They can be different shades. Henry's got the white set. So Henry, why don't you show us how to set up the board?
Well, first you start out with a white space on the right side, and then you put the queen on its own color. And then to the right of that goes to a king, which has a little cross on the top. And then the bishops go to the right and left of the king and queen. And then there are the knights, and they look a little like horses, and they go on the right and left of the bishops. And then there are rooks, or as some people call them, castles, and there are 2 of them as well, and they go on the right and left of the knights. And then there are the pawns that are easy, and there are 8 of them. They go in front of everyone. And that's how you set up a chessboard.
We're ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing in understanding the game of chess is the pieces and how they move. The queen is considered the most powerful piece on the board in that she can move in any direction, as many open spaces as there are in each direction. So again, the queen can move diagonally, vertically, horizontally across the board, as well as backward. And because of that, she's considered the most powerful piece in each player's team. The king, though you might consider him in any kingdom the most powerful person, he's actually a defensive player on a chessboard. Though like the queen, he can move in any direction, he's limited to moving one space at the time. The bishops actually need to be talked about as a pair because each team has a white bishop and a dark bishop. The white bishop travels diagonally across the white squares on the board. The dark bishop is limited to the dark squares on the board and again travels across those spaces diagonally. Again, like the king and queen, can move diagonally forward and diagonally backwards, but is limited to the white spaces or dark spaces depending on which bishop it is. The knight moves in an L shape, 1 up and 2 over, or 2 up and 1 over. The most unique thing about the knight as a piece is that it's the only piece allowed to jump over another piece. So in other words, if there were pawns in front of a knight, it could still go 1 up and 2 over, or 2 up and 1 over, as long as the space the knight came to rest in was open or occupied by another piece from the other team. The rooks, or castles sometimes they're called, are the vertical and horizontal match to the bishops, and that they can move in straight lines across the board, but can only move as many open spaces as available. They can move backwards, but cannot move diagonally in any situation. So again, the rooks move in straight lines vertically and horizontally. The pawn is the foot soldier of each player's team. And when the pawn is in its first line, its original position, it can move one space or two spaces forward. However, after its first move, regardless of whether it's one or two spaces, it can only move one space. The other unique feature to a pawn is it's the only piece that captures differently than it moves. Pawn, again, moves regularly forward one space at a time, but attacks and captures diagonally, which is different from its regular movement. And that's the basic components of the chessboard and how they move. One important note about moving the pieces on the chessboard is you can test a move, and by that I mean if you move a piece and keep your hand on the piece, that move is not considered final, and you can take it back if you choose. But once you move the piece and remove your hand, the move is considered final and you have to live with it, good or bad. Two of the most critical terms in chess are check and checkmate. So check is when the king is in the line of attack from the opponent's piece. Checkmate is when he is in check and cannot get out of check. Remember, once in check, he's bound to move out of check. If he cannot do so, it is checkmate, which is the end of the game. So hopefully over the course of the video, we've taught you how to move the pieces and play the game of chess in its most basic form. Remember, the game of chess is played all over the world, in every country, in every language, and a chess game can be had or purchased for as little as $1. And the most important thing, if you've learned anything today, is you learn the game by playing the game. So get interested, get yourself a chessboard, find an opponent, and play the game of chess. And I think you'll really enjoy it.